All right, welcome back, watch fans. Good afternoon, good evening. The Colonel is back with you to do a review of today's. That's right, today's the best watches, the best, best from all across the web. We got all these flexers on social media. We got some amazing watches actually, and again, all heavy hitters. Or we do have a couple of medium hitters, but all heavy hitters, no shitters. That is the goal for today's program. And of course, leave your vicious. All you punters watching, leave your vicious and nasty comments below. What do you vote for as today's winner? So let's get into it. Let's start off with platinum date. You can't go wrong with a date platinum. A white metal. I mean, this is great looking watch. I posted one of these from the Miami Beach show. It had the blue dial with the baguettes. So the dial was actually, if you look at the video on our channel, it's I think a much better dial. But I mean, that baguette bezel, the bezel, that's right, the bezel, I think it looks amazing. I think it's an amazing looking bezel here. The only thing I don't like is I don't like those little, what I call these little baby diamonds. I like to see the full baguettes on the hour markers, the full index baguettes, not these little baby diamonds, because it looks kind of cheap. Otherwise, look, it's a nice watch. Let's no chat. What does that mean? You can't hear it? Can you hear me? No chat. What means this? By the way, I love this guy's 3800. Michael, I love your watch. I would love to buy one of these. I almost bought one. I had an opportunity for 14 grand. I thought it was too much. I thought I could get one cheaper, and I was wrong. It was a couple of years back, and of course, after that, like everything just went bananas. Michael, how much did you pay for that watch? I think you're a dealer, right? I think you're like a dealer somewhere in the South. What'd you pay for that watch? I mean, I think it's the best one, the 3800. Two-tone with the blue dial. And wait, it gets better. If you notice the date wheel, you notice this date wheel. It's the dark date wheel. It's the black date wheel, so it's not the white one. So that's the earlier one. It's a great. That's the one to get. That is the one to get. Don't get the one with the white one, which is later. It's got the ugly. Fonts. Like, yeah. Come on, the Colonel is the best taste. Now, if you look at this watch we have up on the screen. You know what's the big problem with this watch, Michael? What is the problem with this watch we're showing on the screen? You know what the problem is? The date window is white. You can't have a white date window. It's got to match. It's got to match the dial. It has to match like this guy has. Whoa. DM me, Michael. DM me, please. DM me. Okay. DM me. Seriously. Okay. Now, let's move on to the next one. FP Journe. I couldn't stand this FP Journe, but I like to show this picture. Look. Guys, he's got his sneakers with the yellow, the rubber bracelet. I mean, it's some. If you're into it, you're into it. I mean, this guy knows how to dress up, right? The yellow. I don't know if the yellow sneakers. I'm too old for this shit. But this guy's taste. We give this a. That's why we have it on the show here. Let's keep moving forward. Sky-Dweller Oyster Flex. Now. Again, I can't. I'm not a fan of these rubber Oyster Flex, the black Oyster Flex. You know what? I'll tell you why. I put this guy up here because you know what? He's got some other good watches, and I'm a hat man. Borsellino. I think this is that a straw hat? He's got the nice purple band. I've never seen one of those before. This guy has taste. This guy has taste. Mike, well, we're not too far apart. We're not too far apart. Now here we go. This is an interesting watch. I want to get you punters' opinion on this watch here. What do you punters think of this? Now I know all you low-life degenerates, you don't know what this is. You're like, show us the hype pieces, show us the RMs. Now this is interesting. Vacheron, this is a Vacheron turnograph. I'm not sure if they called it a turnograph. It's a copy of the Rolex turnograph, which I think is one of the most underrated watches. I think this is going to be the next big thing. I own two of them. I own one exactly in this combo, which is the champagne dial with the gold, full gold, on a strap, of course. And this, you get these things cheap. I mean, this is a weird watch. This is a weird watch because it's a Vacheron, but it's a sport Vacheron from the 60s. Okay, do you understand this? It's a sport Vacheron. Beautiful picture, by the way. Now, we look for the whole aesthetic concept here, not just the watch, but we got to see the whole picture, the quality, the aesthetics. This is a sport watch from the 60s. It's a Vacheron. It's weird. And they copied the Cyclops. I just noticed it for the first time. They copied these bastards, these Swiss bastards. They copied the Rolex. It's just a wholesale ripoff. Vacheron wholesale ripoff. Now, let me show you the original. You guys ready? Are you guys ready for the original? Because we do have the original. Michael, you recognize this watch? You're 53. You're not old enough to know what this is actually, because this is before your time, before my time. This is the original turnograph Thunderbird, okay? And this has the Thunderbird logo. This is the real deal. So this was owned by a guy who flew in, I guess he had to be in the Thunderbirds, 1958, at the height of the Cold War. This is the Cold War era. This is when Ike was the president. Eisenhower, for all you kids who don't know, I like Ike. Eisenhower, General Eisenhower became president. All you kids watching, you don't even know who that is. It's unbelievable but true. But this was the watch that was basically worn by the Thunderbirds, the Air Force team. The guys, these were like the what do you call the Blue Angels, or this was like the elite Air Force squadron. Okay, and look at this. What's the resemblance? Can you see the resemblance? Who copied who? I guess Rolex probably sent them like a cease and desist letter, and the Vacheron people, whoa, you got three. Okay, I like this guy. I only have two. Now, do you have the actual Thunderbird? I've never seen one with the Thunderbird logo. I've never seen that. This is the first time I've seen it. I may have seen it, but I've never seen one. But I think it's a great underrated watch. They stopped making them in 2008. And again, this is the watch that started it all for Rolex. This was the original turning bezel that started the Submariner, the Yachtmaster, the GMT, all that stuff. So yeah, but hey, Mike, I gotta ask you a question. What's the right price to pay for a Patek Phillipe pocket watch? I was at the Miami Beach show. I saw some pocket watch. I've never had a pocket. Well, I shouldn't say I haven't, but I've always been I had the urge to buy a pocket watch, but I need the gold chain. I actually have a vest. I need the gold chain though. What's the right price to pay for a pocket watch? I've never owned one, but I saw a guy. He had two of them. One, I turned the crown, and it sounded okay. The other one didn't move. The other one didn't lift out, so it was a little weird. It turned, so you could wind, but it didn't. You couldn't change the time. How much would it cost to fix that? But okay, so it's like, I think this is like 1900. Like one of them had like a Brazil thing on it. What is that worth? Let's say it's not working. Patek Phillipe 1900. They're all the same. They look all the same. Okay, so this same guy who's got this turnograph. This is a man with taste. A man with taste. This is a man with taste. Unbelievable, but true. He's got the turnograph and he's got the AP perpetual calendar. Now, I think this is a crazy price. I don't get this. This. I can't believe these prices. I cannot believe these prices. Now, again, I happen to own a turnograph. I happen to own a AP, but not a perpetual. I missed that opportunity. I have a day-date moon in two-tone because I'm a tacky two-tone guy. This is a beautiful watch, though. This dial is great. The size is great. You know, I don't like this guy's shirt, though. It's kind of looks like a cheap shirt. Looks like some sort of basic Brook Brothers garbage. Now, this is a watch. I don't know. This is interesting. This is interesting. This is a Ming independent. That's right, the independence. You know, there's a world of watches outside of Rolex. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, there are other companies besides Rolex. You know, I don't know. I mean, these things have been around for a while. I gotta get to know these better. I'm actually intrigued. I'm intrigued. I like the loom. You know, some of these things are very cool. I like this guy. He's got some cool watches. You're gonna see. Like, look, we're showing you guys who have like a range of watches, right? Like, you know, you don't have to buy just hype. You gotta spread your horizons. Like this guy. He mostly is a Lang guy, right? He's a Lang guy, Langenzone. He's a Lang guy. He's got the crowd clocks, and he's got the turnograph. He's got the AP perpetual calendar. This guy's got a Ming on a great strap. I love the strap. I think it's a rubber strap, and he's got a FP. Oh shit! I spelled it wrong. There's something wrong with my thing here. It's FP Journe, not Journe. Sorry guys, sorry, got to correct it. Look, this is a low quality production. This is low quality, low budget, right? This is like public access TV back in the day. This is like the Midnight Blue TV show back in the 80s and 90s. I don't know if you guys know what that is. This is a PG rated, but yeah, this is like Midnight Blue but PG. Now look, this is this guy. I mean, it just shows that you can have a range of taste, and you can have a range of watches. You don't have to have the same fucking stuff that every other asshole has. You don't need to have the same stupid Submariner with the black bezel, the black dial, and the GMT, the Pepsi, the Batman. You know, I mean, come on. You know what's interesting? I don't get it. I think it's hype. You know, I hate their dial. I'm only showing it because people are interested. It's kind of intriguing. It's intriguing. FP Journe is intriguing. I mean, it's obviously beautifully finished or whatever, but I mean, I don't get it. What's the difference between FP Journe? Can you tell me the difference between Ming and FP Journe? I mean, I know there's a difference. Okay. But I don't get it. Like, you know, okay, they're beautifully finished, whatever. But the dials are kind of, I hate the hands. The hands are just, you know, it's just not my thing. I think these are super hyped, super duper hyped. And you're buying one of these, you're basically buying into a loss. So you better love it, because in my opinion, you're buying this, you're locking yourself into a loss because these are going to drop in price. I mean, supposedly FP Journe, like the guy, Francois, whatever his name is, you know, I think he was at a dinner. He said some things that were insulting. I don't know if they were of some sort of a politically incorrect nature. Politically incorrect, and apparently some collectors, their feathers were ruffled. Oh my God, this guy said some politically incorrect things, whatever it was. You know, listen, these artist guys. First of all, most artists. I mean, I don't know about watchmakers. Watchmakers are probably more like right wingers. You know, the Swiss, they're probably right wingers. The Germans, but artists, all great artists, are all left wingers. Okay, they're all left wing, to the left, far left. They're all communist, socialists. It's always been that way, all right? I mean, 99% of all artists are left-wing communists, basically. I'm a guy that likes art. Now, I'm a middle center guy, maybe even a right-wing guy. But you know what? I've never seen a really good artist who was a right winger. Never seen it. Never seen it. I mean, you have to be a left wing guy to be a good artist. And to be a watchmaker, you probably have to be some sort of, extreme right winger. It's just the way it is, my friends. It is unbelievable, but true. Now, moving along. We always have to have AP, Royal Oak. These things are pretty cool. I think these are cool. I think it's a little bit overpriced. These prices have to come down. They are coming down. They are dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse circa 1989. That's right. Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse circa 1989 when he was a governor. That's how fast prices are dropping for AP. So yeah, these watches are dropping. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. I love the way it's aged. Everything is beautiful. I'm a fan. Next up, this is generic Daytona. I'm just showing it because look, you got a chick wearing it. You're just showing it. Like, what? I think a woman could wear. Here's the thing: the reason why a lot of prices have gone up. The reason prices have been going up is, especially on mid-sized watches like 37, 38, 39 millimeter, is because women are buying these watches. That's right. It's become a thing now. Remember Ellen DeGeneres? Ellen DeGeneres? She doesn't really qualify. I mean, I know she's technically a female, biologically. She's a lesbian. I mean, she's like a masculine lesbian female, right? I mean, she's not your normal woman. But like, this is like a normal woman. You got other, but she kind of, she's an influencer, right? Like, I mean, I know she's more of like a butch lesbian thing, kind of I don't know, femme butch. I'm not sure the exact definition. I know there's like different categories of lesbians. You got lipstick lesbians, femme lesbians, there's a whole spectrum of lesbianism. But I think when Ellen was doing her show, all these housewives, she was a role model for a lot of women. Then she kind of got canceled because, everybody, it turns out she's nasty, which, all these people, all these celebrities, they all have they all have a nasty side. But, she had that, the happy Ellen DeGeneres, happy. She's a serious watch collector. She's very serious, actually, very serious. She also has a serious house collector. I mean, she's got great taste. Believe it or not, Ellen DeGeneres has. Anyway, so, it's become popular for women. And now a guy like me who can't wear an AP bigger than a 37 millimeter, I'm competing with all these broads that are, they got all their husbands or their sugar daddies buying 37 millimeters for them, right? So, it's become tough. But this just goes to show you that, I think a men's watch looks good. It's a good contrast on a woman, a feminine woman, okay? If you're a butch lesbian with a short hair, ugly looking, you should not wear a men's watch. You can't. But if you're a feminine woman, you can wear a men's watch because it's a good contrast. It's all about contrast. Fewer AP. Interesting. Okay. And we're going to be finished. We're almost at the end here. And this is a pretty basic watch. I don't know why I'm showing this. Look, everybody loves Rolex. I don't. This is a mistake. I shouldn't be showing this watch. But it looks good. The picture is a good picture. It's a good picture. You got the Jubilee. This thing looks a little bit of cracked bezel here. Yeah, it's a cool watch. Look, here's the thing with these vintage watches. And Michael, you can tell me your opinion. My take on vintage is this. If you see a vintage watch, you got to buy it because the odds of you coming across another one are very small. Very small. Like, in other words, what I'm saying is the same watch, the same condition, whether you're not going to have box papers, most likely not, but, same kind of package. You're never going to get it again, right? Like, I can tell you, like, I've had a couple of watches on my watch list or whatever I was looking at, I didn't buy, and I haven't come across them again. Years later, 5 years later, I haven't seen them again. Okay. And, if you're talking about vintage, when I say vintage, I'm not talking about I'm talking about vintage, like late 60s, 70s. That's my thing. 60s, 70s, maybe 80s, early 80s. To me, that's vintage, right? I don't go before that. I'm a late 60s, mid 60s to early 80s type of guy, right? And here's the thing. You're not going to come across another GMT like this because, they age differently. Things change. So it's just the way it is. Yeah. Hand turn. Yeah. But here's the thing. Like, look, a new Rolex, whatever. Here we go. Okay, like this watch, right? This is Michael. I think this is the late 60s, right? I don't know the model number. Now, Patek made a bunch of different variations. I'm not an expert on all the variations, but in the 60s, they made a whole bunch of variations on this Calatrava. And, this is this is a beautiful watch. You're not going to come across another one like this. I'd love to get one like this. It's got the Gobi Milano, the retailer, stepped case. The lugs. Look at the lugs, the beautiful lugs. I don't like those lugs. I don't know what you call it when they point out. I don't like the lugs that extend out. They extend out like sort of spider legs. I don't like that. I like this kind of sleek look. It's kind of, I think this is so sexy, this watch. It's like, to me, this watch is like a Porsche 911. Hey, that is the word. It's sexy. I don't know. It just turns me on. It's like, there's something about it that's sexy. It's like, I don't know. It's like a Porsche 911, the back of the Porsche. Yeah, I don't know. It's some sort of feminine, like it reminds me of I don't know, woman's hips or something. I don't know what it is. It's got this vibe it gives off. And it's from the 60s era, jet set. The guy who was buying this watch in the 60s, okay, in the 60s, you had to have a lot of money to buy this. Okay, it's not like today, every 19-year-old is making millions of dollars on YouTube or, on TikTok. Everybody's a professional TikToker. I mean, any kid can make money on TikTok. Any fucking kid. When I was 16, I was hungry to make money. I think my first job was, what was my first? Okay, actually, the first money I made was stuffing envelopes for some sort of political campaign. I don't know. Some guy just said, "Hey, you want to make like $10 an hour or something, whatever?" And I said, "Okay, yeah." I said, "Well, you got to stuff these envelopes." I don't know who it was, some sort of like local politician. I don't know. They paid me. I got paid like $50 or something. And then I found out later this only happens every couple of years. I thought those things went on all the time, but apparently it's only. So yeah, that was my first money. And I was like 14 or something, or 13, 12, I don't know. And then I didn't make any money until I was like 16 or 15. That was my first summer job. It was hard to make money. You couldn't get a job like, that easy back, in the late 80s, whatever it was. It wasn't anyhow. So to buy a watch like this, hey, come on. This is unbelievable but true. This is a high class, Michael, this is a high class channel. Unbelievable but true. Now, look, to have a watch like this in the 60s, you had to have money. Okay. This was like shit. I don't know what the price was. It would have been the equivalent of, $10 grand today. The prices of these watches have not changed. It would have been like, let's call it not 10, let's call it 15 grand, right? So it would have been like $700, probably $700 in 1963. Okay, the Mad Men era. Any of you kids watch the Mad Men TV show? That's what this watch is from. Okay, so the guy who wore this watch would have been a client of the firm. Okay, he would have been the guy who owned like some sort of I don't know fashion, whatever. You had to be a swinger. You were flying. People weren't flying planes. They were riding the dog. They're riding the Greyhound. They were riding the Greyhound bus. The average chump was riding the Greyhound bus to go to Miami. From New York to Miami for the winter, they'd be riding the bus, the dog. They'd be riding the dog with the train. They weren't flying planes. Yeah, exactly. This would have been a fucking car. This is Gobi Milano. Now, okay, back in Italy, Italy was coming out of the. Now, Italy actually was booming in the 60s. Believe it or not, unbelievable but true, but Italy was booming in the late 50s, 60s, industrial boom, but still, you had to be living la dolce vita to be buying a watch like this. You would have been a swinger, like in Milano. You would have been a guy who's, I don't know, doing something. You would have been making money. This would have been, I mean, again, this was an Italian who bought this. So in the 60s, Americans were making money. Okay, America had money, but in Italy, you really had to be like, you had to be like somebody who at the top, really the 1%. I mean, in the US, you'd be in the top 5%. You'd be making like the equivalent of a couple $100,000. But in Italy, to buy a watch like this, you had to be, heavy hitter. So Michael's like, my buddy watch club, Louisville, Kentucky, 88. He's got 100 million. Best commercial property in the state. Extensive Patek collection. Wow. Hey, I'd love to meet this guy. You know what? I'd like to go to Louisville because I love to watch horse racing. I mean, I'm a heavy bettor. I bet like $5. That's the extent of my betting. I love watching horse racing. I think it's the coolest thing. I probably lose, like when I go to a horse race, I probably walk away losing like $30 because I'm betting, $5 a race. I need to go to Louisville because I like bourbon and I like horses. By the way, one of my favorite shows was, what was that show that they had? I watched it on bootleg on YouTube. I never saw it on TV because I haven't had a TV like in 20 years. But there was a show that took place in the Kentucky or something. Like there were like hillbillies, the hollers. What was it called? It was about a U.S. Marshal or something. It was called Justified. It was the name of the show. Has anybody seen that show? That was an amazing show. I think it ran like 15 years ago. And I guess they were all about hillbillies and somewhere in Kentucky, and then they would go up to Louisville. That's where like the high class people were. Pretty interesting. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Rolex was $200 when in early 60s. Yeah. So Patek. Yeah. There you go. Now think about it. Patek, $1,000. Let's go back to let's go back 50 years. Okay. Let's go back to 1974. Okay. In 1974, $1,000 was the equivalent of like 10 grand today, basically. Maybe more, maybe 20 grand, 20 grand probably. PO, right to Rolex for watch. Wow. This is a fascinating story. Is this true? POWs. Wait, POWs? Wait, I'm confused. Wait, POWs? What do you mean POWs? On which side? They wrote to. I don't. Wait, this doesn't make sense. Which POWs? The guys in America. Wait. POWs captured by the Allies or by the Axis? Wait. We gotta. What's the details? Who are you talking about? Which POWs? Don't tell me like the Germans who were captured by the Russians and shipped off to Siberia. Hans. Don't tell me that Hans was writing from Irkutsk and telling Rolex, send me a watch. I mean, the guy probably never made it back. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how to play poker. I think I did play when I was a kid. I don't know how to play, but yeah, this is the heavy hitters. Heavy hitters. The Kentucky is, this is the Louisville. This is some big money there. This is like, these horse racing people. They get some big money. It's big money. Amazing. Wait. This is I never heard of this. This is crazy. You tell me any POW? You told me you're a guy. You're in an internment camp. You could write to Rolex. How do you send me the documentation? This is crazy. And it's still also that watch would have been expensive even then. Like if you talk about $200, that's like $5,000 today. I mean, even $5,000 is decent money today. I mean, you gotta look, to buy a $5,000 watch today. I mean, legitimately, you got to be making like six. You got to be making $100,000 at least. You got to be six figures. I know everybody's making six figures. Okay, everybody, but you got to be making at least $100,000 to be buying a $5,000 watch. I think. I mean, depending on where you live. I mean, it's like most places in the U.S. So this is a crazy story. I don't. All right, guys, what do you think? What would you vote as today's winner? Okay, I'm gonna go through this again. I gotta log off. Let's go through this real quick. We're gonna start. Okay, we're gonna start from the back. Okay, you guys vote. What is the winner of today? Daytona Basic, AP, Journe, Ming, Perpetual, Thunderbird, Turnograph clone from Vacheron, Sky-Dweller rose gold with chocolate, Journe, Patek Tiffany dial, Patek. Wow. I don't have any friends. I mean, I don't have any friends. I wish I had some friends who owned horses or shopping, anything. I mean, somebody could send me some cash or whatever. It'd be nice. I have no idea where Winchester. Where's Winchester? No idea. I have no idea what this is. I have no idea where this is. But Michael, DM me. I'm interested in the 3800. I hope it's in good condition. It's clean. It's not a stolen watch. I don't know. Hope you didn't steal it from the guy. The guy's 88. Some watches go missing. You never know. These things happen, right? Anyway, guys, unbelievable truth. Thank you all for tuning in to the world's greatest watch market update. I will see you all tomorrow. Again, leave your vicious, nasty comments below. Nasty comments below. Oh, okay. Wait, this guy's going to send us a link. Post a link. Journe is class. Overrated. I can't get into it. I know people like it. I think it's. I mean, look, I get it. It's nice. Look, it's nice. Okay, DM me, bro. By the way, yeah, I'm very, I'm like, that'd be like that 3800 would be the limit. I'm really, you know what? I was at the Miami Beach show. I so much. There's very few watches I'm interested in right now. Like, there's very few. I mean, like, I'd like to get a green dial date. The green dial. What's the name? The model that's on the leather strap that came out a couple of years ago. Leather strap with the green dial, yellow gold. I wouldn't mind a date with the meteorite. The meteorite. I like that. Again, that's just for date. That's outside of that. Look, I like AP in terms of. Look, I love those 60s Pateks. I love that, like that Calatrava. By the way, I love turnograph. I'm into turnograph. I have two of them, so I'm really, I don't know. The fucking prices, guys who were asking Miami were ridiculous. Crazy prices. I would like to get a good AP dual time in two-tone. Like this 36 millimeter two-tone dual time with a white dial. I gotta have a white dial, okay? Or it's gotta be some like incredible dial, not black, not like some goofy color. That's pretty much it. I mean, I like this is, to me, this is a dream watch. This would be great. So that's pretty much it. At 3800, Patek 3800. Uh, then, oh, you know what? I did he pawn that? I don't remember that. It's funny that movie. You know, it's funny. I actually one of my first jobs when I was well, not my first. Yeah, I got actually one of my first jobs was I worked at the Cotton Exchange. That's right. In the Four World Trade Center, the Commodity Exchange Center. And actually, I worked at the Cotton Exchange. These guys were trading orange juice futures. That was next pit over. This is like 1990 or so. Dollar index, and then I got fired. I probably in the space of 3 months, I got fired from 4 different companies. Unbelievable, but true. That's right. I got fired. I was a phone clerk, taking in the orders, giving the hand signal to the guy in the pit. It was great. Yeah, it's yeah. So the trading places, that's where it was. Orange juice, and that whole world disappeared. Doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. It's all electronic. That's right, my friends. The world is gone. Totally electronic. That was like a time capsule. Amazing experience. I remember I walked onto the floor, and when you walked in there, you walked out of the elevator, you walked into that. It was a whole floor. It was like, must have been 40,000 square feet. And like as soon as you walked through the doors, it would hit you. The smell, it was like a smell of like sweat and like greed. It was a weird smell. I've never smelled that anywhere else. I remember that smell. You walked onto that trading floor, it was like thousands of guys there. It was a smell of like greed and fear, and amazing. FP, yeah. It is original. I mean, it's I think it is. I think FP Journe is like I think they've jumped the shark. I think they're at the limit. It's like that's I don't see how they can. Look, everybody's into it. Everybody's already owns it. Okay, I get it. It's whatever. Blah blah blah. It just looks old fashioned. Okay, when in 20 look, I like old paintings. I like antiques. I mean, I'm into old stuff, right? I like the stupid watch I got on the screen here from 1960s. But you know what? We're in 2024. Let's have the hands on their dials. The FP Journe hands. I find them. I can't get into them. They look off. They look off to me. It's like it's the dial, the numbers. They just look. This is an example of what a watch today should be, the Ming, okay? I don't know too much about it yet. I got to do my research. I mean, I don't think this is a whatever, but it's interesting. I like the fact that these guys are doing something interesting. The prices are reasonable, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of independent watchmakers now, and in my opinion, again, just my opinion, no. The Journe hands are not modern. The Journe hands are not modern. Yeah, they look like busted down. They're busted. They're busted down. By the way, I hate Breguet hands. I hate Breguet numerals. I know it was great 100 years ago. 100 years ago, it's great. But we're in 2024. Let's do something that's modern. Let's do something that's modern. They said the same thing to me. They're racist. The AP people are racist, and they're I was in a store. I said, look, I want a 37. I said, look, I said, hey, can you get me the blue? I'll take a two-tone, the rose gold two-tone with a white dial, a steel. They said they don't have it. I said, hey, how about that ice blue dial, the ice blue? They said to me, oh, when we get that, we sell that to women only. We prefer to sell that to women. Oh, really? Isn't that like discrimination? Isn't that sexual discrimination? Isn't that I think it is. I think somebody should sue them. If there is some sort of ambulance chaser watching this, contact me. I will be your lead plaintiff. Because look, I mean, how can this company, decide to allocate watches to people based on sex or race or whatever, right? And I think they do. I actually do believe that AP, for a fact, we know that they do allocate the watches to women. They have a preference to give them to women, which is discrimination. And I believe they actually do give preference to, shall we say, people of color, okay, to APs. I mean, listen, if you got the money, they would prefer to give it to a person of color, let's put that in quotation marks, as opposed to a white guy. Even a guy of excellent taste, such as yourself, a real aristocrat. Why? Because they're trying to be like they're trying to be politically. They're trying to pander to look. They're trying to pander to a certain demographic. They're trying to pander. They're trying to be hip or whatever in a very European way. Like they're trying to be like trying to be young and hip or whatever. Meanwhile, they're a bunch of old billionaires in Switzerland trying to scam people. That's what they're doing. They're scammers, grifters. I haven't tried. I can't get it. I hate the hands. I cannot stand the hands. Okay, I can't stand it. I think the workmanship is beautiful, like the whatever. I get it. The dials, beautiful colors. I love the dials. I love the case. I hate the hands. There you go. Exactly. Ambulance chasers, please contact me. Let's get some lawsuits going, because for sure, I guarantee you that, imagine if Ellen DeGeneres, a lesbian woman, a butch lesbian woman, femme butch lesbian, walked in to FP Journe, and they said, you know what? This watch, we allocate this to, we prefer to give it to our male clients, our, what's the word? Cis male, what the fuck? What is that word? It means like biological. They said something like that, right? Imagine that, right? Imagine that. Yeah, exactly. Listen, though, how much? I tell you, the finishing. Listen, how many? Who cares about the finishing? Okay, listen. How many people are going to look? I know it's gold, blah 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 blah, whatever. Okay, I get it. The prices. I mean, look, the prices have. You know what? I probably should do that. Actually, I probably should say I'm a black. I should tell them I'm a black woman. Imagine that. Imagine I told them I'm a black woman. That would a black transgender woman. I'm a black transgender woman. That would get me whatever I want, probably. No, seriously, guys, we need to start suing AP. They got that. These guys are complete assholes with a ridiculous pricing. Their attitudes, their like interview bullshit. Look, in my opinion, quite frankly, I think that a lot of these hype watches, new watches, etc., price is going to be going down. I think that a lot of guys are going to be buying vintage, because you know what? Look, you don't want to be that fourth asshole on the subway, on the plane, on the American Airlines, who's wearing a that new Submariner ceramic, or the Daytona, or the whatever AP chronograph. Well, actually, okay, AP equipment, not, but there's 20,000 million people wearing the same watch. Vintage. Look, I think anybody with some taste and some money, okay, people with money and taste, in the next year, they're going to be moving into either vintage or independent brands. Because look, to go to independent, go for an independent. I don't even consider Journe so much independent anymore. But like a Ming, and by the way, Ming I know is not an expensive watch, but there's a lot of independent brands out there. Really interesting stuff out there. Some of it is expensive, and those watches are going to drop in value. They don't have resale value. But you know what? To buy a watch like this, you got to have money, or you got to be a real collector. You got to be a real horologist. WHORO. You got to be really into your whores, because you know what? You're buying the watch because you love it. You're not buying it for resale value. You're not going to flip it. It's just like the way it used to be back in the day. So yeah. Shit. Nobody's paying me. I have a video of a yacht master. I think I was one of the first guys to do a video of a yacht master 40 on YouTube. with the two-tone, with the chocolate. You could see it on here. And it got like 50,000 views. And I like, nobody watches this channel. Like that video got 50,000 views. I think that probably why that video probably sold 100 Yachtmasters. It's crazy. Longines. I don't know. I mean, I know Longines is supposed to be like, look, it's for people who really know what watches that they appreciate Longines. To me, I can't get into it. I'm a bit of a snob. I need the brand. Okay. I gotta have, I can't get into Longines. I gotta have Patek, AP. I need something with got some something. Look, I think what we're going to see in the next year, the guys, instead of buying like the day date, the guy with 50 grand, who really can afford to spend 50 grand, not the crypto bro, not the guy who made the PPP loan, not the guy who, the YouTube influencer guy, the TikTok bro, like the real guy, like the guy who has 50 grand to spend on a watch, who legitimately, can afford that. Like if he bought a watch, it wouldn't be a big deal. I think, and he's got a couple watches. I think that guy, especially if he's got some taste, I think that guy is going to move towards the independents this year. I think they're sick of Rolex because the thing is, you don't want to show up. Again, look, it's all about status at the end of the day. We're all fucking animals, like chimpanzees. You show up at a meeting. You don't want to be, one of the 5 guys there at a conference, and, everybody's got the Submariner or whatever. You want to have something that's like, whoa, something like a real heavy hitter. Hey, maybe you can file a lawsuit somewhere. We got to file a lawsuit against AP. I'm going to wear a wig. I got to tell you, I've seen some weird shit. I was on a plane. It's interesting. I was on a plane going back to the Miami Beach show. There was a guy, I think he was a cross-dresser. A guy in Vegas. I think he was some sort of cross-dresser. Because he was definitely cross-dresser. I think he does one of these shows in Vegas. I don't know what, some sort of cross-dressing show. But I bet that guy could get an AP. I bet that guy could get an AP. I mean, it's it's. Yeah, I know Longines is they're actually a very respectable. I know they have this whole history back in the day, but it's kind of look, a lot of these brands, they come and go, and it's interesting. Look what happened with Universal Genève, right? Universal Genève, it's a brand that faded. They're trying to revive it, whatever. There's other brands. Longines could have been a contender, just like Omega could have been a contender. I mean, Omega, I think, is a better watch than a Rolex. From what I understand, Omega is a much better watch than a Rolex. Or it was back in the day, in the 50s and 60s. But Rolex overtook them. Why? Marketing. Yeah. It's It's I don't know, Longines, I think Longines probably faded in the 70s. I think they were kind of did a long fade out, sort of like an actor, like a guy, like, they do a long fade out over many years. Like Bruce Willis in the last 10 years, 15 years. I mean, this is a kind of a sad to say, but it's that's what happened with Longines. I mean, like Longines, it was like Bruce Willis's career. And by the way, I don't know the guy personally. I probably shouldn't use that example. But look at Bruce Willis circa 1995 and Bruce Willis movies circa 2014 or 2005, right? I mean, that's Longines. I mean, they're probably top of the world or near the top in the 1930s or whatever. I don't know. And, they just made the wrong decisions. I don't know. Look, these things happen. It's the way it is. No, there you go. Yeah. I'm not into that. I need a watch which has got some. It's got to have some. It's got. I'm not into like. I got to get rid of this Ming off the screen. It's a disgrace to humanity. It's a disgrace. Let's put something better. Look. I need something which has got some class. Okay, like. I deal with people. Like in my day to day. This is not my day job. Like I deal with people. Heavy hitters, okay? If people of with taste, okay? Not I'm not dealing with real estate brokers, okay? I'm dealing with sometimes I'm dealing with heavy hitters, like I'm talking about like top level people. I'm not talking about just money. I'm talking about people with class. That's right, class. Minor aristocrats or mid level aristocrats, mid level faded royalty. I can't show up there with a fucking Longines. I gotta have something like this watch or a Royal Oak from 20 years ago. I can't show up with a. I don't want a flashy new watch because I don't want to look like a nouveau riche guy, which I am. But Cartier is making a big comeback. Amazing. Cartier has made a comeback. I actually about 5 years ago I was looking at buying that. I was looking at either the AP, the dual time. I mean, not the dual time, the day-date moon. And then I saw the what is it called? The Santos Galbay. The one from the two-tone, from the 80s. The two-tone. I think it's called the Galbay. Cool watch, and I think there were a couple of grand. And I was in Spain, and that was in Barcelona. Right? I'm in Barcelona, and the dealer was in Barcelona. I show up there, fuck, they don't have the watch. They say, "Oh, we got it, whatever, blah 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 blah." Anyway, the watches were a couple of grand. I don't know what they are, but like Cartier, I think was a good buy a couple of years back, and everybody was saying, "Oh, it's a joke, whatever." Cartier is a pretty cool watch. I mean, it's not whatever, but it's like they're pretty cool watches. And now all of a sudden, there's a lot of hype in Cartier. A lot of hype. I think it's going to be a little bit over. I think it's a little bit. I think the Cartier thing is. I think it probably has some legs here. I think Cartier's got some legs because they are making nice watches. They went through a bad phase. I think back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they were doing some ugly watches. But Cartier, they're smart. They're very smart people. Horologically, from what I understand, it's quality stuff. Again, I'm not a horologist. I'm a whoremonger, but not a horologist. And I think, from what I understand, they're doing quality stuff. So I don't know. If I would get a good Cartier, I mean, actually now I think I missed the boat. I think I missed the boat in Cartier. You know what? I'd rather get a Patek like this than a Cartier. I'd much rather, yeah. Yeah, the Tank is a beautiful watch. I mean, I think I don't know what the price. I haven't even looked at the prices recently, but you could have gotten them for free almost a couple of years ago. Tank. It's a cool watch. The right size. I mean, I'm assuming you get the normal size one, not the ridiculous one. Interesting. You know what? That's an interesting point. You know what? That's very interesting. So if they were kind of making cheaper watches, that's probably why they never got that prestige. It's all about the prestige. It's all about the prestige. Unbelievable but true. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I mean, it's interesting. Now that you bring it up, I don't know if I do. Like when I look at vintage watches, first of all, I prefer gold. Okay, on a strap or whatever. I don't want to buy a 10K or 14K. I want 18K. I want the full gold. I want to get my money's worth. I don't want some cheap cheap, busted down, you know, whatever. Yeah, you know, Michael, I'm a couple of euros behind you. You know, I bought now. I bought my first Rolex. My first purchase was I did a package deal. I got a date just. This is like in 1997. No, 1998. 97, 97 or 98, 1997, excuse me. It's going back a couple of years. It was my mid-20s, I think. And package deal, I got a date just, stainless steel, probably worth about $2,500 if I took it out. The package was, I think, $6,000. A date just and a Patek Calatrava with a hobnail, the hobnail bezel, manual wind. $6,000 for the package. And you know what? I ended up like in the early 2000s as you know, cell phones became popular. And you know, somebody told me like, hey, you know, Rolex makes 1 million watches a year. And I said, oh, shit, they're making 1 million watches a year? These things are going to be worthless. And the cell phones, all of a sudden, everybody was using their phone to tell the time. I said, you know what? I better dump these watches. I better dump these watches before the market collapses, before everybody realizes that the emperor has no clothes. I sold both watches. I made money. I made I probably made like $1,000 on a Rolex. And I made I sold the Patek for like $6,000 or $6,500. You know, I thought it was a genius. And then I didn't wear a watch for like a decade or more. I only got back into watches like 7 years ago. I missed out. I missed the whole opportunity. I missed a massive window. Opportunity. Yeah. So yeah, all I had was the only watch I had from that time. Oh, yeah. So after I bought those, I bought a day date with a bark finish, the bark bracelet, the black Roman dial, black the gold Roman numerals, a black dial. That was $6,000, and I bought that because in 1998 that watch was $6,000, and a Daytona was $9,500. For like a new model was $9,500. I said, shit, why should I pay $9,500 for it? First, I was never into the chronograph, but I said, wow, this is crazy. How can a gold date be $6,000 and a stainless watch is $9,500? It didn't make any sense. And, you know, I was wrong, basically. But that actual watch became very hot for a little while. But, you know, day dates. I think day dates actually are good value. I think they're a good value. Wow, this guy's a serious guy. Maybe I shouldn't buy, Michael, maybe I should not buy that Patek from you because you know what? I don't want to buy from a guy, you know, I know like when I was in the art business, you know, you don't want to be buying from a guy who's a more knowledgeable than you are. You don't want to be buying from a knowledgeable seller because that means you're on the wrong side of the trade. That's the way it works. But anyway, guys, all right, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you all for joining. I'll see you all on the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe the channel.